Hey, hello again, everybody. Tim here from timscomputerfix.net. Hey, if you look back on my YouTube videos, you'll find one that's titled Gateway MS2285 Broken Hinge and Power Button Repair. And in that video, I did repair the hinges, but I also repaired the power button there, but I was under a limited amount of time due to the fact that the customer needed that computer back within a few hours. So I kind of did a quick fix on it and recorded it. And in that video, I kind of used, a power button, or basic power button here, and I used just basically some wiring, and I just kind of soldered those guys together, and just kind of made an extension of the power button basically, and just kind of soldered on my new power button. And the way I ran these wires was actually through the back of the laptop, through the bottom of the laptop, kind of protected it with some heat shielding and all that, and I kind of laid it down flat underneath the back panel door and kind of secured it that way, and that gave our customer a way to turn his laptop on and off. In this video, I'm going to show you a professional and a clean way to mount this power button properly. Stay tuned. So we've removed the top lid and the palm rest, and we're getting down to motherboard level here, and we need to map out where our wiring is going. Shown here in red is where our power button is plugged into at the moment. So from there, we're basically going to kind of loop our existing wiring back around, and we're going to go kind of underneath the motherboard, and then with our new extension wires, we're going to go right underneath between those two screws shown there. And we're going to come right out where the heat pipe is near the heat sink. Now that we've got our wires mapped out, we can go ahead and prepare to get our power button put in. And basically our power button is going to go right here, right next to the exhaust vent of the laptop. We've dribbled out a small hole, and this is where the power button the new power button is going to be mounted. Now before you start cutting wire and start soldering anything, it's just best to kind of pre-fit everything before you go along. Measure twice, cut once type of thing. Pretty much the route that I showed you is a pretty safe bet. Near that heat pipe though, we will use some extra shielding on our wire just to ensure that our wires do not melt. But really, this laptop would have to get really hot to melt the wire, so we're pretty darn safe in that regards. Okay, now that we know where we're going with our new power button, we'll go ahead and add our extension. We'll start by taking off the power button wire here from the motherboard. And we're just going to snip off a little bit here on the end to kind of get to some good wire here. From that point, we'll just strip off the ends. There's no real positive or negative with power button wires, so don't be worried about positive and negative. There's no current that runs through power buttons, at least not in this model laptop. Great thing to use is some helping hands, because this can get a little bit difficult with only two hands. But we just set a helping hands here, and now we're going to kind of get a general idea of about how much wire we're going to need. We could always trim off a little later, but right before we start shoring things up. But for now, we're going to get the right amount of wire, and we're going to make duplicate copy of that, 2 wires, and now we can start the process of kind of just soldering these guys together. We'll just give them a quick solder job here. Simple enough, right? Just to get them together. And now we're using liquid electrical tape to protect it. And now we're going to slide us some heat shrink tubing over that and apply some heat. And we'll get that shored up. We'll do the same thing to the other side. Our second wire, we'll go ahead and get it clamped down. One of your best friends is the helping hands with this job. And got us some liquid electrical tape on that. Slide us some more heat shrink tubing shown here. And then we'll just shrink it on up with some heat. And then we're going to use another heat shrink tube that's about double the size of those to kind of give it some more support and to protect it. So we'll just slide this guy on here, clamp it down again, and add a little more heat to that. So we have some more protection there in that area. So from there, on our other end, the end where our power button is going, we'll go ahead and slide us some heat shrink tubing through here first, and then we'll strip our ends down. And we'll do two different sizes, and we'll strip our ends down here, get them exposed, and now is our time to install our power button. This is a sub mini push button from Radio Shack, part number 2751571. Again, our helping hands does a lot for us here. We kind of solder on the wires. Doesn't matter which way they go. Going to protect them again with a bit of heat shrink tubing. Tighten them up there, and then we'll slide the bigger tubing over that. And this is what's going to kind of give us a little bit more security here on the end, but it also will help protect against the heat from that heat pipe that's coming out from the processor. So a little bit of extra added help there. It isn't going to hurt anything, but we'll be just fine. Hey, right now it's a great idea just to kind of test this power button before we mount it. So we just press the button here. We got our fan spinning. We also got a power light there at the top right. There's our fan, and then there's our light. So our power button works just great. It's always good to test that. I'm going to start dribbling out a small hole here where the power button is going to go. It's good to start off small and slowly work your way a bit larger. The worst thing you want to do here is to go too large. That way your power button will slide through, or it may look sloppy in place. So we really want to take your time when it comes to dribbling out the hole where this goes, and you want to be sure you get it right in the center. You don't want to end up going too high or too low with that. Right, so now again we're test fitting this power button before we actually run it where we want it. We want to be sure that it fits nice and snug into place. And as you can see, it does quite nicely. So now we can go ahead and route our new power button with our new wiring. Just as I said, we're just going to go underneath the motherboard and just kind of work your way down with it. Get it into place. Take your time. Be sure nothing's in the way. It fits nicely right in that same location that I was mapping out earlier. And just get it pushed through its new home and get everything kind of worked into place. And the board fits down nicely. Everything sits down nice and even. And now we can just clamp down our power button with this power button comes with a nut that you can screw down tighten up onto the power button there. And it kind of locks into place. It's not going anywhere. From there we can just kind of put our laptop back together, get all of our wire management back done. You can watch my other videos about teardown and reassembly of this particular laptop. But we just kind of put everything back together, and this will be a job done. Now, as you can see, our back cover can now go on nice and flush with no wire sticking out like I did in the original video. And we'll flip this laptop over and we'll look at kind of how nicely and clean this new power button looks. Look at that. It's hardly even noticeable. So I think it's a wonderful place to mount the new power button on this particular laptop. Hey, I hope this video helps somebody out trying to do this particular project. Hey, if you would rather ship me your laptop and have me repair your power button on this model laptop or any model laptop, you can look me up at timscomputerfix.net. I have a way you can contact me there, and I will send you the information that you need just to ship me your laptop. You'll be glad you did. So thanks for everybody for watching my videos. Please rate and subscribe to my feed. I've got much more videos coming up here real soon. And until next time, everyone, see you soon.